projects.
Well, sometimes positive things can emerge from sad stories, and National Neighbour Day, which is celebrating 10 years this Sunday, is a perfect example of how that can happen.
The discovery of the body of elderly woman Elsie Brown in her home in 2003 sent shockwaves around the country. When it was revealed she'd been dead for 2 years without a single person noticing.
She was there with a blanket draped over her on a couch.
She was a woman who'd been forgotten by her friends, relatives and neighbours. And it was this tragic case that inspired the creation of National Neighbour Day, which aims to encourage us to get to know the person next door. With an estimated 3.7 million Aussies expected to live alone by 2026, being in touch with your neighbour is becoming more important than ever. And besides being a friendly face, knowing your neighbour can have a lot of benefits. They can feed your dog when you're away, collect the mail, take out your bin, mow your lawn. Heck, play your cards right and you won't have to lift a finger. There was a time when being friendly with the people next door was just a part of life. So could Neighbour Day be the perfect way to once again connect with those on the other side of the fence? Andrew Heslop is the man who founded Neighbour Day. Andrew, there was a time when it was expected that people would just be close to their neighbours. Why has that tradition faded?
I think these days both parents are working. Everyone's got a mortgage they've got to take care of, so there are less people around our communities during the day, which is the loss of the social fabric.
But it's a fact now, right, that we live in a global community. Okay, we've got phone, email, social networking. I mean, for some of us, getting home is a little bit like getting into your own little sanctuary, isn't it?
It is, but over the past 40 years, we've also built on the fringes of our city suburbs that are entirely car dependent. So to get a litre of milk or a loaf of bread, you've got to drive 5-10 kilometres to do those basic things rather than walk around the corner like we once did.
Andrew, it's also about socialisation though, isn't it? And a lot of our socialising now seems to happen online or in places outside our sort of immediate neighbourhood. So we're not mixing with neighbours. I mean, what are we missing out on then?
Well, Waleed, I think what we're missing is that sense of community, and online social media, for example, is a different entirely community. But what we've seen over the past, say, 10 years since social media has evolved is that people are using that to talk to the person next door or across the street because they can do it instantly rather than having to open the door and go outside.
Well, I've got to be honest with you, Andrew, I would much rather be Facebook friends with my neighbours because the ones next door to me, I wouldn't know them if I fell over them and it's a little intimidating to just go and knock on the front door. What tips have you got for me to get to know them?
Well, Lehmann, the thing you can do on Sunday is to walk across the street, knock on the door and say, "G'day, here's my mobile number. If there's ever an issue or a problem that you need to face, I'm here to help." And using Neighbour Day as a catalyst to do that is going to change those relationships.
What if I start getting drunk texts at 2 in the morning?
They're probably not from your neighbours.
Well, Andrew, you seem like you'd be a really nice neighbour, actually.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Good luck on Sunday. It is Neighbour Day.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Because there are many psycho neighbours out there, so it does make me nervous kind of going across the street and knocking on the door. But the point really is, and what's important here, is there are the elderly living alone. That story was so sad.
Yeah.
And I think that it is important that we find out who lives in our street and if they are alone, if they need help.
And the other important thing is when your neighbour catches you putting your rubbish in their bin, if they know your name, it's a bit less awkward. Moving on right now.